And a very pleasant good evening from the TC Ching Complex on the campus of the University of Hawaii. It's time now for little beach volleyball as the nationally ranked Hawaii Rainbow Wahine take on the Cornhuskers of Nebraska. Hi everybody, Scott Robbs, Lisa Strand. Lisa, today's the first day of spring. And we have spring-like conditions here tonight. It should be absolutely gorgeous for Hawaii and Nebraska. Two teams that are quite familiar with one another. They play each other every year. They played each other just a couple of days ago over on Waikiki Beach.
Well, they sure did, and Hawaii came out on top in that match. They also played numerous other teams in the Outrigger Invitational. It was a long weekend, and they are thanking God right now that the sun has set a little bit here at the Ching Complex, and they are just about to begin competition.
All right, tonight we're going to see the first two flights for both squads. And starting off with flight number 2, you got Nikki Taylor for Hawaii.
Well, Nikki Taylor, you know, she's back. It seems like she's been around a long time, and she has. She's an All-American indoor and outdoor, and she decided to come back. She was maybe not going to, but she didn't want to miss out on the opportunity. And her partner, Schucht, also another player returning. They are now 12-1, I believe, on the season. They're having a good year so far.
All righty, now we'll be joined by the third member of our crew, of course, Ryan Kalei-Suji. Ryan.
Hey, thanks, Scott. Well, expanding a little bit more on Nikki Taylor, I just spoke to head coach Jeff Hall. He said that over the weekend at the Outrigger Invitational, Nikki Taylor was the best player on the beach, and he credits a lot of that to her dedication. This year, Nikki Taylor deciding to go full-time beach, did not go to the USA Volleyball indoor trials, and really wanted to concentrate on her senior season on the beach. Now, like you said, it's been a busy weekend for the Bows, playing in the Outrigger Invitational. Following this matchup tonight, they're going to be heading over to UC Irvine, to Irvine Valley rather, in Tom Pestalacci's Shave Ice Challenge, where they'll be playing Irvine Valley as well as Stanford, and then taking on number 2 Pepperdine. It's going to be a busy week for the Rainbow Wahine, but first up, it's Nebraska.
Rainbow Wahine Beach Volleyball on OC Sports is sponsored by Bank of Hawaii, Kaiser Permanente, and Island Air.
And keep in mind, it is a best-of-5 flight, so whatever team wins the first 3 automatically, of course, wins the overall match. It's time now for the Hawaiian-Tel FCU starting lineup, and we'll start from flight number 5 and work our way up. The numbers on the right are the records of the teams as a pair. So in flight number 5, you have Reeves and Smith versus Hawaii's Ozi and Zalapani, and there you see the numbers. In flight number 4, for the University of Hawaii, you have Homayan and Khan against Feki and Maloney. There you see a nice record at flight number 4, 11-2. In flight number 3, Emily Maglio, everybody aware of her from the indoor game, and Laurel Weaver against Kelly Hunter and Lauren Stiverins for Nebraska. Now, flight number 2, which we'll see in a couple of moments, you have Annika Albrecht and Olivia Boender against Schucht and Nikki Taylor. You heard Ryan talking about Coach Hall saying Nikki may have been the best player on the beach this past weekend in Waikiki, and the number 1 flight starters for the University of Hawaii, Morgan Martin and Mikayla Tucker, 8-5 on the year against Andie Malloy and Justine Wong-Orantes, 4-4 so far here in 2017. So Hawaii and Nebraska on the sand here on the campus of the University of Hawaii. You couldn't ask for a nicer evening. The winds aren't much of a factor. Of course, the sun has gone down. Perfect conditions, Lisa, for some beach volleyball.
They are absolutely perfect. The lighting is great. The court is all set. It's been raked over. It's nice and flat. And the breeze is just enough where I think that you actually might have a court advantage on one side. It's coming from Diamond Head going towards Eva.
Well, when you look at Hawaii's pair of Taylor and Schucht, they're very familiar with each other. They're the longest pair of all the Hawaii pairs on this year's team. They played a bit last year together and, of course, have been together all season long, 12-1, and they beat this pair on Saturday in 2 straight.
Yeah, and they're both experienced beach players. Schucht she looks a little smaller than what they have her listed at 5'9", but she's a junior, and she's been on the team for 3 years now.
We're underway, and that serve goes into the net. Of course, everybody's well aware of Nikki Taylor and her indoor success as well as her outdoor success. Got injured in that second round matchup in Minneapolis in indoor volleyball at the regional, but has been cleared, feels 100%. In fact, feels so good. She turned down an opportunity to try out with the national team to remain committed to the beach volleyball team this year.
Well, it just goes to show her commitment and also how much fun she's having being at home, playing at home. She's really dedicated herself and has been the true epitome of a rainbow wahine.
The cross-court pokey by Taylor is down and good for a point for Hawaii.
And they're going after Nikki Taylor immediately because they want to play a big girl against a big girl, so they're going to challenge her a little bit at the net.
Taylor will jump serve. It's a good serve. It'll be bumped up to Albrecht, gets it over. Nice dig by Schucht. Schucht will take the bump set and finds the back row and the opening.
And you can hear Nikki Taylor calling out line. Schucht just going for that deep middle. Very hard to defend that deep middle shot that she just did on transition ball.
Now, Kaiwi Schucht is from Southern California, down in the San Diego area, Escondido. But she is really a local girl. Her dad is from Waianae. Her mother is from Molokai, but her dad was in the military, so she spent a lot of time living on the mainland, was super happy to be able to come to Hawaii and play for UH.
Here on the quick replay, we see a nice touch by Kaiwi, but she doesn't quite pop it up high enough for Nikki Taylor to take advantage of that play.
Taylor with the nice pass. Taylor will try to terminate. Instead, she is going to be roofed by Albright.
And one of the things, again, that Nebraska is going to do is they're going to go after Nikki Taylor. They're going to try to break her down. They're going to make her pass, and then they're going to put up a big block.
So Schucht over on the right side. Taylor roofed again by Albright. One thing we want to point out, the Nebraska players are all indoor players. They don't have a single player on their team that is specific just for the beach.
That's right, and as we take a quick look at that block, this Nebraska team, let me remind you, has 3 national championships behind them, and this past year took second in the national championships.
And a year ago won it. Kind of a broken up play for Hawaii. Here come the Cornhuskers. And the cross-court kill again by Albright. She's a junior out of North Aurora, Illinois, and she and Boender, both 2-time academic Big Ten selections. So not only good athletes, but bright students as well. That serve goes a bit long. Good play by Nikki Taylor, not to try to receive it.
Well, that's court sense, and she's on what I would call not the good side right now, and that ball caught the wind and just floated past her.
And these two faced each other 2 days ago. Hawaii won 21-13, 21-18. So, you know, something interesting, Jeff Hall told me, he said that this court probably favors Nebraska more so than playing over at Queens, where the sand's a little deeper and a little harder. And let's take a look again, and we'll see. And, well, I think Nikki did get a bit of the right elbow on the net first.
Well, maybe she got it first, but the other girl actually definitely took the net.
But you know about the sand and how different sand does different things with you in terms of playing out there. What's the difference between the sand there and here?
Oh, it's a huge difference. This is a little bit more hard packed. So this is what they call a big girls court, if you will. Queens is a little deeper. It's more of it's a real beach. And you've got a little bit more elements down there. Right now, playing at night is also completely different than playing in the daylight.
And the Cornhuskers win the long rally, so they come out here with some momentum, up 8-4 on Hawaii's Taylor and Schucht.
And the Cornhuskers are not rated this season. They have a very short beach season. They play here, they come to Hawaii, and then they'll head out and they'll go to Arizona and play 3 more matches. And that will be their entire season.
Well, that was a nice kill put down by Nikki Taylor right there. Yeah, they don't put a whole lot of emphasis. As we mentioned, they don't have any beach-only players. They're all outdoor players. This is kind of what they consider a cross-training season for them. That one off the block. Schucht could not get to it. And let's take a look now at the first Hawaiian Bank top 3. And there you see Hawaii career dual match victories. Nikki Taylor tied with Katie Spieler with 59. Hannah Rux down at 46. And of course, you know a little bit about Katie Spieler.
I sure do. And actually, this could be an evening for Nikki Taylor to jump out in front with career victories if she were to win this match tonight.
There's a service ace. So a bit of a surprise at the beginning of this one, as Nebraska doubling up Hawaii on the board, 10-5. Schucht will bump it up to Taylor. Taylor will roll it. Nice diving dig, kept alive by the Huskers. Hit over, saved by Taylor. Schucht ricochets it out of bounds.
And again, Nebraska really going after Nikki Taylor, serving her, blocking her, and actually hitting balls at her defensively as well.
And so we're going to have a timeout called. And the interesting thing about beach volleyball, the players call the timeout, not the coaches, right?
That's right. The players are not have to call everything themselves. The coaches are only allowed to talk to them during the timeouts and during side changes. They can share information, but they are not allowed to say anything to them during the match.
And what are some of the other changes, like the switch over because we're outdoors in the wind, right?
That's right. Different ball, different size court, they change sides every multiplication of 7, and the game is actually played to 21, not 25. We play 2 out of 3.
All right, let's go down to the third member of our team. He is Sandside, of course, Ryan Clay Suji. Ryan.
Hey, thanks. During this last time out, head coach Tyler Hildebrand for Nebraska talking to his players about specifically targeting Nikki Taylor. The game plan is making Nikki Taylor have to pass, but they're also going to sporadically mix it up and hit it to Schucht. So the game plan is really to challenge Nikki Taylor as much as possible. Now, Hildebrand, the newly named head coach of Nebraska, taking over the assistant coach in the indoor game, making the transition over from Long Beach, and also now taking on this sand volleyball program. Back up to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Ryan. Tyler Hildebrand was a heck of a setter back in his day with the 49ers. Won a national championship at the Stan Sheriff Center with Long Beach State a few years ago.
And played on the Olympic team, then went on to coach as well as play on the AVP. Nebraska just scored a big one.
6 serving 11. Nice jump serve by Taylor, handled by the Huskers. Up near the net, poked over, and down by Schucht.
And that's an interesting play because here you have Nikki Taylor jump serving and you have Kaivi Schucht at the net. That's very rare to see the smaller players stay at the net and actually block. And she made a great play.
Talk about the pokey. That's another difference from the indoor and outdoor game.
Well, outdoors, you are not allowed to open hand tip. So you either got to do a pokey or you can do what we call a roll shot or a cut shot, but you cannot open hand tip. It's considered to be an illegal contact.
So Nikki Taylor will go back. She'll get ready to serve down by 3 or the Rainbow Wahine. Serve gets over. And trying to get it back over are the Huskers. Taylor rolls it over the top of the block, attempting down over Boender.
And all of this made possible by Nikki Taylor's jump serve. Let me tell you, when she gets that thing going, it can be an incredible weapon. 4 straight points served from Nikki Taylor.
Taylor once again. Good serve. Albrecht to Boender. Cross court, gets it in. And now the two sides. Will they switch over now? All right, well, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll have more from set number 1 in Manoa. Now we're back at the Ching Complex, the beach courts here in Manoa. Hawaii trailing Nebraska 12-9. This is the flight number 2s for both teams. Later on, we'll have the number 1 flights. The two teams switch sides. Hawaii now with the ball pushed over by Taylor, kept alive by Nebraska, dug up by Schucht, bumped over from Taylor. Schucht will try to go cross court. Nice diving dig and an overpass. Taylor will take it on the second contact and terminate it.
Well, that's a great play. You know, you got a free lollipop, if you will, over tip shot, and you've got to set Nikki, and she does a great set. She sets the hitting shoulder and yells as loud as she can, "No one."
Hawaii comes into tonight's match overall 11-2 as that one finds the back row. And I asked Jeff Hall about the team, and he said, you know, I think we're probably about where we thought we would be at this time. He did hope they could steal one from Florida State over the weekend. They lost to FSU 3-2, but he says, you know, we're about where we should be.
Well, there's a lot of depth on this team. I'll tell you, to see Nikki Taylor playing the number 2 spot is a little amazing to me.
I was shocked with the nice shot. Gets it off the hands of Albrecht.
You know, the 2 All-Americans on this team are playing in the number 2 and number 3 flight. Emily Maglio is playing in the number 3 flight. She was the number 1 last year with Katie Spieler.
Well, they have good depth. That's what Hall said. Bumped up near the net for Boender. Albrecht with the hard shot off Schucht, who couldn't find the ball.
You can tell Albrecht's an indoor player. She did a backslide, basically footwork on that play here on the replay. She took a 1-foot approach on that ball. And again, Nebraska's players are all indoor players.
So Hawaii gets the point on that one. And Evie Schucht will go back and serve. Last year, her second team all Big West selection. Teamed up mostly with Hannah Rooks. That one tried to cut, but didn't get over the net. Good effort by Boender. But when she did play with Taylor, they were 7-4 last season. So Hawaii has cut it down to a single point, the deficit. There you see Schucht back to serve between both sidelines, right down the middle. Boender will bump set it for Albrecht. Albrecht finds the back corner and gets it down. It's time now to take a look at the Kaiser Permanente keys to the match, Lisa.
And taking a quick look at these keys to the match for Nebraska. They need to attack hard from the service line. And why I say that is they need to get Hawaii out of the system. They need to get them into trouble and take advantage of that. And for Hawaii, it's just to finish strong. It's been a long weekend. They hosted the Outrigger Resort Invitational, and they've been playing for almost four straight days, and they're going to be taking a big road trip. This is just the beginning of the middle of their season, if you will, and they would hope to finish strong tonight.
It's been a long day for Jeff Hall. The indoor team had practice at 6 o'clock this morning. Then, of course, they have the match today, and then tomorrow the indoor team will face Kansas. Nice save by Nebraska. Taylor will set it on the left side. Schucht finds the puka in the back row.
And that's a great defensive play by Nebraska. She turned and got that ball. And Nikki Taylor had actually almost thought the play was over. She had turned her back and was actually walking away.
Both Boender and Albrecht showing terrific defensive skills on the sand. Taylor rips that jump serve. Kept alive. Basically rolled over and down in front of the diving Taylor. Both players for Hawaii were in the back row, and the attacker saw that, took advantage.
Yeah, and that's the big thing about sand volleyball is your court presence or depth perception is huge out here. So what you might notice, you're going to see a lot more shots, cut shots, roll shots, deep into the corners than hard-driven balls.
Boender with the serve, the cut, dug up by Boender. Back to her. There's Schucht. Taylor. Schucht off the hands of Albrecht. Nice save by Boender. They'll free it over. Here come the Rainbow Wahine. Great opportunity. It goes to Taylor. Taylor to the right and down.
And Taylor doing a nice job moving around the block. She got blocked early on. It was a good set, but she decides to mix it up a little bit and cut the ball.
You know, Boender is from Nebraska. She's from a town called Waverly. And her senior year in high school, she was the Gatorade Nebraska Player of the Year. Mentioned they're all on the indoor team. And they call it double contact on Hawaii. Boender didn't see much action indoors this past year. She's a junior, only played in 11 matches.
She also redshirted her freshman year as well, so she has that as an advantage, if you will.
Bumped up Taylor on left side, tries to cut it, can't negotiate it over the net.
That was a good set again. Nikki Taylor seeing the court very well. If that ball would have fallen, it would have been a great shot.
So Hawaii, they've been fighting from behind this entire opening set. That one will be played off the net, and that's about it. And Nebraska a point away from taking the opening stanza against Hawaii. The two teams now will switch sides.
And again, they switch sides on multiples of 7. You see Nebraska switching and trying to keep the momentum on their side. Usually what they'll try to do is get back and serve pretty quickly because they are moving forward in this match.
Nebraska a point away from taking the opening set. They played at 21, and then the third and deciding set is to 15. That one shanked a bit. Schucht will have to bump it up near the net for Taylor. Taylor to the left, gets it down off the diving dig attempt.
And that's a very difficult set to hit. It's coming from behind her, and she has to use that little hokey pokey because she can't really see the court.
So Taylor and Schucht still alive, but barely here in the first set. Line drive serve. Bumped up. Boender gets it to fall, and the Cornhuskers take the opening set over the Rainbow Wahine by the score of 21-16. We'll come back with set number 2. And we're back here in Manoa, TC Ching Beach Volleyball Complex. And there you see Nebraska taking the opening set over the University of Hawaii by a score of 21-16. A bit of a surprise, I would think, considering that Taylor and Schucht had beaten this pair just Saturday afternoon at Queens.
Well, definitely maybe a surprise, but just like any competition, it can go any way, any day. So you never underestimate your competition.
You know, you mentioned that Nebraska only plays about a 3-week season. They'll go to Arizona after this and wrap it up, and they've been doing that for the last handful of years, coming here and then going to Arizona. They did have a home match earlier this year, like last season, against Missouri Baptist, but it was closed to the public. All right, let's go down to Ryan Clay-Suji.
Hey, thanks, Scott. Well, during that break between sets 1 and 2, head coach Jeff Hall talking to his team saying, hey, Nebraska is playing with a lot of intensity. We have got to up our game. The game plan for Hawaii on the serving end as well, they're going with the jump float on the side closest to the softball stadium, and they're actually jump serving on the side closer to the track, and this is just a way to play with the wind conditions as well as the spacing on the court. But overall, Hawaii looking to come out much more with much more intensity, hopefully in the second set. Back to you, folks.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Taylor will serve for Hawaii. That one goes just long. Well, the side that Hawaii's serving from, that's where the winds generally come, Mauka to Makai.
Yep, it's at their backs right now, so they have to take something off of it, a little bit off the ball, or it will float long, just like that last serve by Nikki Taylor.
Nice cut shot. Nice save by Nebraska. And Boender will get it over. Here comes the Rainbow Wahine again. Schucht pokies it over. Dug up. Saved by Taylor. What will Nikki do right here? She'll take a little whack at it. Dug up by Albrecht. Albrecht will try to get the back corner and just misses long. You know, I have to say, I've been very impressed with the Cornhuskers defense.
Yeah, they, you know, for being what they would call big girls, 6'2" and 6 foot respectively, they are playing some great defense. They're holding on defense and they're moving very quickly to the ball.
On the second contact, down the line and good for Albrecht.
Well, that's the one she wanted on that last play. So Albrecht again with that indoor approach, the skip to the ball with the 1-foot takeoff, going for that deep corner.
And Albrecht will serve. Taylor to Schucht. Schucht back to Taylor. Taylor that time takes a whack at it and puts it down with authority.
And that play made possible. Nikki Taylor passing that first contact very well, getting a good set with no block.
So Taylor will serve, knotted up at 3. Hawaii down 1-0. The float serve, a good one. And kind of just forced over and out of bounds off the right hand of Boender. And so the two teams now will switch sides at the 7 combined points, 4 for Hawaii, 3 for Nebraska.
And Hawaii with a huge roster this year of 28 players, 28 active players, the largest in the country. And when you have 28 players on your roster, you probably have some serious depth.
Yeah, ideally you like to have about 16. I talked to Jeff about that as well, and he said mainly the reason why this year they have so many players is that you have a new indoor coach coming in, Robin Amo Santos, and he's not sure how much he's going to allow the indoor players to play beach. So he's trying to build up his beach roster, trickled in with some of the indoor players, and eventually they'll probably have a roster just of beach players in the next year or two.
Well, you gotta love this play. This is an over on 2. Nikki Taylor turning and swinging, knowing that Kaiwi was gonna set her on 2 for yet another kill.
Taylor gets that serve over. Over to Albrecht. Tries to cut it. Cannot. Albrecht went 8-3 last year. She played to the 4th flight last season for Nebraska. But interesting, she didn't go to high school. She was homeschooled.
She was homeschooled. And she was the MVP of the homeschool national championships 3 years in a row, 2011, 12, and 13.
I didn't realize there was a homeschool national championship.
Yes.
Down the left side, good idea by Boender. Olivia Boender, the junior, out of Waverly, Nebraska.
And Boender, again, a redshirt freshman, an outside hitter at 6'2" on the indoor team. He's an honor roll student.
And Shank somehow, Taylor gets it over. Attacking the free ball is Albrecht.
So one of the things you'll see out here a lot, or shall I say often, is you don't have to play 3 hits. If you see an open spot or an open puka on what we would term a broken play, then you can hit it over on 1 and 2, and that's what you're seeing both of these two teams do a little bit more in game 2.
Boender off the block, save back row, up to Taylor, who'll have to free it over. Nice one-hand dig, and then hitting it over on 2 is Nebraska. Here comes Hawai'i. Another nice dig by Albrecht. Albrecht will try to terminate, and that one goes just long. What a rally. What a terrific rally on both sides of the net.
Well, a great up by Albrecht there, and then just some awesome rallies hitting over on 2 and 3. Both teams really showing some great effort.
That one clips the twine. Does it get over? They're going to play it like it is, and it did get over, and that will be a point.
And again, another broken play. All of these broken plays being caused by some tough serving on both sides of the net.
What would you say has been the difference so far in this matchup? The serving and what else? The defense?
Definitely the defense. I'd like to say the serving has been the biggest difference so far. We haven't seen great passing yet.
There's a nice roll shot put down by Nikki Taylor. All right, time now for the series record. It's sponsored by Aston Hotels and Resorts. There you see the last meeting was on Friday. Hawaii won all 5 of the flights. So in fact, Hawaii has never lost to the Cornhuskers in 5 previous meetings. And there you see Jeff Hall, the head coach in his 3rd year for the Rainbow Wahine, kind of pulling double duty with the indoor team as well. He'll be on the sidelines tomorrow night at the Stan Sheriff Center when the indoor team takes on Kansas.
Yes, he definitely has his hands full. In order to coach indoor and beach, he has to have some serious help, and that he does with this Rainbow Wahine beach team.
He told me he loves it. He says it's absolutely a blast. He goes, it's better than a real job. I say, yeah, well, that's true.
This is a real job. It just happens to be that he loves it. His 3rd-year assistant coach, Evan Silverstein, takes, a lot of the work off of his shoulders. He came from University of San Francisco, where he volunteered, coached in 2014. And he's really been helping him out quite a bit, holding the fort down, as well as Danny Alvarez, who's been a volunteer assistant with this team since its inception. He was with Scotty Wong when Scott took the program.
Off the hands of Taylor and down by Boender. Yeah, Danny really is the unsung hero of this program, isn't he?
He is, and I think that just goes to show his commitment to the sport, trying to get it to grow, and he just loves the game.
Sent by Taylor. Schucht will bump it up near the net for Nikki, pushes it over. Albrecht. And that one goes wide.
And one of the things they don't have here yet out in sand volleyball, or beach volleyball, if you will, is the challenge system. There is no challenge system, although we're going to get a little bit of a questioning by Albrecht. She's coming up to the top ref and saying, I want to get that checked.
The top ref is Joe Aguilar. And Bert Fuller's down. We know Bert Fuller from the indoor game, men's side and women's side.
And the AVP, he's been coaching for reffing for as long as I can remember.
And there's one where a little communication breakdown in the back row between Schucht and Taylor, and it falls between them.
Well, when in doubt, go to that deep middle. And again, that deep middle falls very often because of exactly that, the communication breakdown.
Nice float serve. Taylor will bump it up for Schucht. And the joust kept alive by Hawaii. They pop it over. Albrecht dug up by Schucht. Schucht will try to finish it. The set comes over, and it works out for Hawaii. And Nikki Taylor gets the bump set kill.
Yep, again, another broken play. It's not real clean, but you know what? You take the point. If you can get that point, it tickles the top of the tape and comes down.
Huskers won the opening set 21-16, so Hawaii trying to even things up here in the second. And that one goes out of bounds. And that'll be a point for Hawaii. The two sides will switch again. Every rotation at 7, they switch. So we'll take a break with Hawaii up by 3. Well, there you see some of the members of the Warrior indoor volleyball team back home after spending the weekend in Provo. Wasn't the kind of weekend they had hoped for, but don't forget they'll wrap up the regular season this Friday, Saturday nights at the Stan Sheriff Center against CSUN. And you know what? You can watch both those matches live right here on OC Sports. Back here to the action, 12-9, Hawaii leads, and the kill by Schucht. Nebraska winning the opener, 21-16.
Serving at 13-9.
Hawaii coming out playing a little bit more emotional here in game 2, realizing that their back's up against the wall a little bit. They're on the good side, serving into the win now.
Bumped up for Albrecht. Albrecht finds the sand. And UH Athletics reaches out to you online each week with updates and promotions through its H-Mail e-newsletter. To register, visit hawaiiathletics.com, click on the H-Mail button. It's simple, and the best part, it is free. Over to Taylor on the far right side. She goes cross court, Katsu. Nice job by Nikki Taylor.
Nikki Taylor making that look very easy with a perfect pass. And again, a perfect set. And she, you know, just buries that ball inside of like the 10-foot line.
Taylor with the jump serve, right down the middle of the court. Rolled one-hand save attempt by Schucht. Good effort, but comes up just a tad short.
And Albrecht moving the ball around really well. This young lady at a junior has a record at Nebraska. She played in all 33 matches as a true freshman.
Well, that tells me she's quite good.
She is. I mean, they won the now. She was she was player of the year.
So a 15-11 Hawaii advantage. A high pass. Boender over to Albrecht. Does she get it in? No, the line judge says it's wide. And another point for Hawaii, who now is slowly getting a bit of separation from the Cornhuskers. Should Hawaii win this set, then we would play a third set up to 15. And there's a nice termination by Albrecht, just inside the end line. And two sides will switch over.
And check that, she wasn't the player of the year. I got my stats mixed up. She was the ace leader the last 3 years, her team.
You see Tyler Hildebrand, the head coach for Nebraska. He still looks really young. He always had a baby face, didn't he, even when he played at Long Beach State.
He does, and he's in for some new territory down in Nebraska.
Nice shot by Schucht. Reaching up as far as she could was Albrecht, but not far enough.
And Schucht with the jumbo shrimp, if you will, deep into that corner. She goes like a deep rainbow up and over the defender. She just cannot even barely gets a touch on it.
You know, a jumbo shrimp, that's an oxymoron.
Is that right?
Yeah, well, of course. Think about it. Nice two-hand save that eventually goes out of bounds off Schucht. So Hawaii still with the advantage, 17-13. And back to serve is Olivia Boender from Waverly, Nebraska. Schucht, nice high bump set to Taylor. Taylor goes cross court, yes.
And Taylor hitting that ball out of the left front. You'll notice that they continue to move the ball around a little bit. Sometimes she's hitting out of the right front. But other times she goes behind the setter and she just annihilates that ball.
Oh, that's a serve that I think Schucht would love to have back, particularly at this point of the match or the set, into the top of the tape.
Right serving 14-18.
So Albrecht will serve. Annika Albrecht. And that one will be an ace. So a service error by Hawaii, an ace by Nebraska. Makes things a little closer here late in this set.
Closing the gap. What you need to remember is this court is shorter, smaller than the indoor court.
Taylor puts it straight down. When in doubt, go to Taylor.
Well, not a good pull or drop off the net by Boender. Excuse me. She should have stayed and blocked. That was a perfect set. And Nikki Taylor on a good set is going to annihilate the ball again and again.
There's a high float serve that goes deep, handled by the Huskers. Boender will be blocked, saved, pushed over. There's Schucht. Back to Schucht. Ka'ivi with the little cross court put down. And Hawaii now a point away from evening up this match. 20 serving 25. Take a look at this again, Lisa.
And that's the strength of Kaiwi, is that she has been around this game a really long time. She's super smart. She's got all kinds of different tricks in her tool chest, and she just cuts the ball. She moves it around. The play before, she did the jumbo shrimp, remember?
Yes, I do.
And then she does the cut shot. So she goes deep, then she goes short. Sometimes she hits middle.
Jeff Hall says she's a very focused player. Taylor lets that one fly. Saved by Schucht. Taylor to Schucht. Schucht can end it off the top of the tape and down onto the sand. And a little help from the tape helps Hawaii even up this match at a set apiece. They take this one 21-15 after dropping the opener 21-16.
Well, you got to wonder if there's a little bit of fatigue involved on both sides of the net. It's been a really long weekend. And again, we have to go back to, they have the privilege to play in this beautiful complex at night with a nice trade winds. There's no sun. It's a perfect opportunity. And at 1-1, they get to go to a game 3.
You know, for me personally, I find it just impressive that Nikki Taylor is playing. We were both in Minnesota in December, first week of December, when she hurt her ankle in the, I think, the third point of the first set against the University of Minnesota. And to have her back here 3 months later playing at the beach, and Jeff Hall saying she might be one of the best players in the country, that says quite a bit about her.
It does. And, you know, her body, I mean, she's just taken a toll. She's played 4 years of indoor and now 4 years of beach. That's basically year-round volleyball, plus USA volleyball, which means summertime. So at some point in time, she's going to, you know, she's had a little recovery period, but, you know, she's young. That's on her side, of course. But I think truly she wanted to make sure that she loved the game of beach so much and playing for the state of Hawaii and at home that she just really wanted to come out and partake.
She broke her ankle, but not only that, she had some ligament damage as well, but neither of them were to the severity where she would require surgery. So she just rehabbed it. She must be a quick healer, and here she is.
Well, the sand is a lot gentler on your body than the indoor court, I will say.
All right, here we go. Do or die, set number 3, first of 15 wins. And the serve into the net by Schucht. Oh. Each point's kind of magnified when you get to this point, right?
Exactly. This game goes very fast, and instead of doing switch sides on multiples of 7, they will now switch sides on multiples of 5.
Bumped over on the right side. Albrecht. And they call a net violation, though, on Albrecht, I believe, didn't they?
Yes, they did. At the joust, they immediately called. Here on the replay, you can see she pushed in and a little bit too much.
But that's a great angle. Terrific job by our camera guys. Boender. And cross-court shot by Albrecht is money.
And these two teams, I think that it's going to come down to serving tough in this last match.
Boender again slaps it over. Taylor chases. Nice pump set to Schucht, and then it goes off the hands and out of bounds of Albrecht. Sometimes your feet, they get caught up in the sand, right?
Definitely, definitely. And it's hard because you have to either commit block or drop back and play defense. And again, being that there's only 2 of you, it's definitely hard work.
They serve it over to Albrecht. Boender, one-arm dig attempt by Schucht. Okay, so it's 3-2 in favor of Nebraska. The two sides will switch now. Nebraska won the opener 21-16. Hawaii came back, took the second 21-15. And don't forget, after this one is, pal, we'll have the top dogs. The #1 flights for both Hawaii and Nebraska, so you won't want to miss that for sure. Schucht will bump it high up near the net. What will Taylor do? She'll take a swing at it, but into the net. I would imagine that's got to be a very tough play, and that ball's coming over your shoulder and then trying to time the hit.
You completely lose the whole other side of the court because you're tracking a ball from behind you, and Nikki Taylor trying to really swing away on that ball.
That bump set goes over and falls down. That's the second time tonight we have seen a bump set attempt by Taylor become a kill for Nikki.
Well, those are opportunities actually for Nebraska. That's a free ball.
Sure.
So if they're sitting in their right place and more true beach volleyball players, they would have probably picked that up. But again, they're transitional players. They're indoor players coming out for 8 weeks and playing beach volleyball.
And you got to think, being able to play on the beach for 3 weeks like they do against competition only helps them indoors.
Oh my gosh, it helps them so much already. In this weekend here in Hawaii, I've already seen improvement. And I went down and watched them this weekend.
Two-hand save by Albrecht. Back to her. The roll shot is good.
Now, Nebraska also has an indoor court facility that they built, just a sand court. And that's where they do their training because of the weather situation.
Largest lead here in this third set. It's funny you mentioned that. If you go online to their website and to their beach volleyball site, they have a picture of it, and it's only one court. But if you look at the walls, they're all painted with like palm trees and the sun to kind of make it look like a beach, even though it's like 25 degrees outside. But the weather the last couple of weeks has actually been decent in Nebraska. So they've been able to go, they have outside beach courts as well, and they've been able to practice outside, not just inside. For more, let's go down to Ryan Kalesuji.
Hey, thanks, Scott. Well, Jeff Hall talking to both his players about communication, saying we need to trust each other and listen to each other's calls. He's trying to get them to do a better job of calling out where they should be hitting, as well as making it a point to talk about their first contact. He needs to do a better job of controlling that first ball. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, guys.
Well, I'd have to agree. That first contact, just like that first pass, if they take care of that first contact, then the other things come a lot easier.
Keep in mind, they played a 15. Nebraska up by 3, their largest lead here in the third set. Serve gets over. Nice pass to Taylor. Taylor will set it for Schucht. She'll go cross court. Nice diving dig. And then on the second contact, taking advantage is Boender, and she puts it down in the back row.
And interestingly enough, Nebraska has decided to start serving Schucht's. Schucht's a little bit more than Nikki Taylor, so they're mixing it up a little bit to find their points.
So they're catching Hawaii a bit off guard. Here comes a line drive serve, popped in the air. Taylor has to go out of bounds, can't get there.
So again, she's got to start thinking that the ball is going to come to her instead of to Nikki Taylor, because they've been focusing on Nikki Taylor the first 2 games.
Keep in mind, Hawaii's pair this year, Taylor and Schucht, they're 12-1. And there's one off the hands, the kill for Schucht.
And you can see a little bit of the fatigue again. The last few contacts have hit the top of the net, so that might play into her legs being a little fatigued.
Well, I would imagine both sides are probably a little fatigued, right?
Oh, definitely.
Pushed over there, Schucht to dig it up. Taylor bumps it back to Schucht. Where we should go? Right at the two-hand dig. Poked off the block. It will be blocked by Taylor. And we haven't seen very many blocks from Hawaii tonight.
No, we haven't, and that's a very tough play. Nikki reaching all the way over and getting almost all of that ball. At 6'4", she's definitely got the advantage.
So Hawaii within 3, and that was the first block for Taylor tonight.
Good pass. She's up.
Boender up near the net. Cross court, nice dig by Schucht. Schucht will take it, goes cross court, saved by the Huskers, bumped high in the air. And getting it down in front of Schucht is Boender.
And Boender seeing the big block, working around it, not swinging really hard, just taking a little bit off of it.
And the Huskers will serve from Makai to Mauka. Schucht all alone, tries a deep corner, misses by quite a bit. And so a pretty sizable lead right now by Nebraska here in the third set at 10-5, and Hawaii's gonna have to try to rely on a little bit of defense and get some points here to get back in this one, or to find themselves losing only the 2nd time this season.
That's right. There you see the coaching staff talking to them as they're switching sides. Look to them to go possibly over on 2. If she takes this ball, Nikki may take it over on 2, or set her just like that.
And pushed down and over by Koivi Schucht. 5'9" out of Escondido.
Schucht doing a great job maneuvering that ball around with a perfect set by Nikki Taylor.
This is where Hawaii needs to score some points from the service line. That's a nice serve by Taylor. Popped up to Boender. Boender dug up by Schucht. And Schucht finish it. And she can't as she serves it wide down the right side.
But she's going for that deep line, and she just barely misses it. And again, a very difficult set coming from behind her, very high.
Schucht dug up. Back over to Albrecht. Albrecht off the dig and down. And Nebraska now within 3 points from the win. And this would be an upset, no question.
This would definitely be an upset, especially on their home court. Hawaii scrambling to stay in this.
Taylor. And she splits the defenders, that being Schucht.
And again, the defenders not completely still on defense and going deep down the middle, showing all of her different tools that she's got, again, with cut shots, high line, and swinging away.
Win now kind of picking up here in Manoa. Schucht to dig it up, perfect placement. Gets the bump set, pops it over, dug up overpass, and that one will go long. Schucht realizes at the last moment, drops to her knees. Well, that was a good job by her.
That was. Actually, it was a good job by the bench, because every girl on UH on the bench was screaming out. And she takes a look and then she points over to them like, thank you guys. Because she was running backwards and was truly going to play that ball.
Went out by a couple of feet, so give at least half of that to the Rainbow Wahine bench. And there you see. Thanks, guys. All right, back to action. Boender, one-hand dig by Schucht, saved by Taylor, but that's it. Good effort by both Schucht and Taylor. And you look at Nikki Taylor and slowly gets up. She kind of was like a walking mummy the last couple of years between indoor and outdoor. The injuries and taped up, and she's had all kind of things.
She was a walking mummy. I think her and Ice became best friends.
Right? That's a great serve. That is an ace for Albrecht.
And again, Albrecht, the career ace leader on her team. She's led in aces her freshman, sophomore, and junior year.
Fourth ace. Match point here for the Huskers. Taylor bumps it up. Where will Schucht go? Off the tape. Ricochets played off the net by the Huskers. They free it over. Taylor able to dig it up. Back to Nikki on the right side. Dug up, overpass. Schucht's there to save it. Taylor chases. Backs it, middle, pushed over. Schucht dug up by Nebraska on the right side. And it goes out of bounds by Boender.
And both teams are sandy and tired and breathing hard. Nikki Taylor just huffing and puffing away. That was an excellent rally by both sides.
And Hawaii wins the long rally to keep their hopes alive here in set number 3. Taylor will take a deep breath this time. She'll kind of just jump float it over. It's a nice serve. Bumped up high near the net for Boender, and it's pushed over and down by Taylor. So Hawaii not going away quietly here in the third.
Actually, there was a net violation called on that play.
So they call a net violation instead on Nikki Taylor, and that's kind of an anticlimactic way to end things here tonight. But Nebraska wins the third set. And let's take a look again and see what happened here.
Here on the net cam, you can see, yes, Nikki does tap at the top of the net. There you see her left hand penetrating over and just tagging the top of the net.
So an upset in Manoa in flight 2 pairs as the team of Albrecht and Boender upset Nikki Taylor and Kaiwi Schucht, who now fall to 12-2 on the year. We'll take a break. Don't forget, coming up, flight number 1 pairs here from Manoa. And welcome back to TC Ching Complex, the beach volleyball courts, where Hawaii's pairs at the flight number 2 fall to Nebraska 2-1. The flight 1's coming up momentarily, but let's go down to the sand and Ryan Clay Suji and his very special guest.
Hey, thanks, Scott. We're here with head coach Jeff Hall. Jeff, obviously not the outcome that you guys wanted or anticipated going into the matchup. What do you think happened with that last match?
Well, hats off to Nebraska. I mean, honestly, they just played really good volleyball. They did not quit on any point. You know, we served them, got them out of system, and they made some really nice plays. You know, we talked about just effort and energy on our side and that we had to match it, and we didn't. You know, we came out in the second set and obviously controlled it, but then you get into a third set, it's short, and you got to match intensity and you got to want it. And I think, you know, we had a hard time executing certain fundamentals, but, you know, hats off to them. They deserved it.
Obviously, you guys are coming off of a very long weekend, playing in a number of matches during the Outrigger Invitational. Do you think fatigue at all was a factor maybe tonight for some of these players?
Nope, not at all. No, you know, they train so much. They play so much in the sand. You know, we had a day off yesterday, so this would be their normal practice time. So to me, I don't think so. I think just emotionally, they just, you know, we weren't ready for it tonight.
Looking ahead now to the number ones that are going to be playing next, what do you think is going to be important for your team and your players going into this matchup?
I just think how good we side out. You know, we have to get in there and we have to make sure we side at a high level. If we get into rallies here, I think we're going to be in trouble. But, you know, our number one is really good. Their number one is really good. You know, Justine has been at one her whole career. She's given us some great battles here in this court. So it's going to be awesome. It'll be a great match. And again, it's going to be who wants it more at this point.
Looking ahead as well, just the overall sand program. I mean, it's great to see more people coming out here. Where do you think the program is heading? And we're seeing a big roster now with the team as well. Obviously, there's a lot of growth. Your impressions overall about how the sport is doing?
Well, the sport's doing great. You know, we're going the right direction. Our program's going the right direction. You know, I think we're in it. We're trying to get in that upper echelon, and we have a lot of support here. A lot of fans. The state is behind us. The administration is behind us. So we're lucky. We're just hoping that we can get to a championship here and bring one home for the home team.
All right, best of luck in the next match, Coach. Thanks. We'll send it back up to you guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Ryan. Let's take a look now at the McDonald's match summary, and let's see how these two teams have done so far. In the Flight 5, it was Hawaii winning in straight sets. They also did that in the Flight 4, so Hawaii won the first two. In Flight 3, they went to a third, but the team of Maglio and Weaver were able to upend Hunter and Stivrins in 15-9 in that third set. So Hawaii won the first three flights today, which meant Hawaii has already clinched this match. And of course, what you just saw in flight number 2, a real upset as Schucht and Taylor fall in 3 to Annika, Albrecht, and Boender. So you see coming up flight number 1, but your thoughts overall on what you've seen today between Hawaii and Nebraska. One thing I've noticed is that Nebraska, even though they don't make the full commitment to the program, they're getting better and better every year we see them.
They are getting better and better. And you know what? They have a lot of heart. And this is a team that really has a special place where they play at home, just like Hawaii, where they're just supported and loved. And in their community, they've just won the hearts, and they recruit very strong. They're great volleyball players. It would be a scary thought to think if these girls trained a little bit longer in the sand, how truly good they could be.
And how about John Cook, the indoor head coach, a long-time head coach at Nebraska, now handing off the beach volleyball duties to Tyler Hildebrand. There you see John, who's a two-time AVCA National Coach of the Year, has won 3 national championships. So he's saying, Tyler, you take over, do what you can.
Well, I think it's a smart move on John Cook's part. He's in his 18th season there at Nebraska. And he looks at Tyler and he says, you know, here's a guy who's played at every level, and he's played professional beach, and he's coached Olympians in beach volleyball. So, you know, sometimes people put indoor and beach together, but I personally believe they're completely different sports. I think they're different size courts, different balls, different types of players. There are no specialty players. There's no libero. There's no middle blocker. You kind of got to do it all. And there's a lot of different strategies. So I give John Cook a lot of credit for bringing in a true beach player and allowing him to take over and get involved, train these girls to be truly competitive, because that's what he wants.
And this sport is growing. There are 56 now Division I programs that are playing beach, and not all of them are literally on the water. They're all over. They're spread out all over the country.
They're all over the country, and it's just going to continue to grow. I mean, last year was the first national championship, and so it'll happen again this year in the Gulf Shores. But this sport is just giving more and more opportunities, and what you're going to see is that indoor teams and outdoor teams are going to separate. You're not going to see as many players, like, for example, you were talking about indoor Robin Amos Santos may not want her players coming out to the sand. Maybe she will. We don't know, but there are a few programs in the United States right now that only do beach. USC, I believe, is one of them, Pepperdine, and I want to say one of the Florida schools.
I think Florida State.
Yeah. And it shows in their rankings.
All righty, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll have more here from Mano. There you see some of the players enjoying a little refreshment between flights 1 and 2.
Big Island Candies, the perfect place to find the perfect gift. Visit them at their flagship store in Hilo at Ala Moana Center or online at bigislandcandies.com to see their amazing selection, including delicious chocolate-dipped shortbreads.
Rainbow Wahine Beach Volleyball on OC Sports is sponsored by Straub and Hawaii Honda Dealers.
Well, welcome back here to Manoa. We are here joined now with Kupono Faye, the senior outside hitter for the men's team. Kupono, coming off of a tough loss at BYU, talk to us a little bit about what you guys experienced up there.
It was just a great environment, great experience for us. Getting to play at Provo, such a great gym, great fans, great team. So they really they gave us a tough matchup, and we're just going to learn from it, move on.
Looking ahead, you guys are closing out the regular season, and this weekend's against CSUN. You're a senior, last home weekend. What are your thoughts going into this last final home stretch?
Well, it hasn't really hit me yet, but I'm really excited for the guys. It's going to be a great night, great couple of nights, and I can't wait.
You know, we see the Sand team cheering you guys on. You guys are reciprocating by being here tonight. How much involvement do you guys have in supporting the other athletes, and how important is it for you guys to kind of come on here and show your support?
Really important, man. I mean, it's a tight community, you know, volleyball, so we try and support the indoor team in the Sand, and they try and do the same. So we're just trying to make it fun, you know. That's what it's all about.
Well, thanks a lot, Kupono. Best of luck to you. Again, this weekend, the Warriors taking on CSUN. Back.
All right, thanks a lot, Ryan, as we get ready for the final flight of the evening. Flight number 1, the top 2 teams for Hawaii and Nebraska. They met on Friday down at Queens Beach, and Martin and Tucker for Hawaii defeated Wong-Orantes and Malloy 2-0. But I'm really excited to see Morgan Martin, the freshman out of Mission Viejo, California, last season's top recruit in the country when it comes to beach volleyball, committed, and now is here at the University of Hawaii, and I understand she is very special.
Well, it's amazing that a freshman comes into a program that's pretty well established, and she's put in that #1 spot, holding her own when she's got 2 All-Americans in Emily Maglio and Nikki Taylor.
Yeah.
You know, so she's obviously impressed the coaching staff, and she's playing really, really well. She's had a lot of international experience. She's been in the USA Beach performance. She won an U17 huge win internationally earlier 2 years ago. And so I think just the international experience, and her dad played at UCLA. You know, she's got some genes there.
And then you look at Nebraska and Justine Wong-Orantes, who you could say is maybe the best, if not the best, one of the top best liberos in the country. And there you see the overall records. Martin Tucker at 8 and 5, and Malloy and Wong-Orantes at 4 and 4. But Justine Wong-Orantes, she is very good defensively.
Well, she is. You know what? She's so fun. She started on the beach, and again, she's got a ton of beach experience as well. She went down to Nebraska, fell in love with it, was Libero of the Year. She set all kinds of records left and right, and just recently has been invited to train with the national team as a libero, specifically from Karch Karate.
And she has some experience at the beach, some high-level beach experience. When she was 12 years old, she partnered up with Summer Ross, who, of course, was in the past Olympics on the beach.
That's right, and with Sarah Hughes, who is the #1 player at USC. So she's had some great opportunities, and she'll be really fun to watch tonight.
Well, teaming up with Martin, of course, Mikayla Tucker, who last year played at the 5s, the 4s, and mainly at the 3s with Ginger Long. And Coach Jeff Hall says she's just a real savvy, good ball control type of player.
She, you know, is very deceptive. She's a little smaller on the court, but she defensively reads a lot of balls, and she's been in the program now for, this is her 4th year.
So the 2 teams will shake hands at the net. Also, Andie Malloy, the senior out of Allen, Texas for Nebraska. She actually started her indoor career at Baylor and then was a senior transfer to Nebraska indoor this past season.
Yep, so she's played 1 year on the indoor team at Nebraska.
And interesting, she's wearing socks.
Yeah, well, she might have gotten some blisters possibly down at Queens. It was extremely hot there, and that's where they played these last few days.
All right, we're underway. There's Morgan, and that one gets the tape, and you see her laughing because that wasn't what she was trying to do. But it worked.
Or it's what they call the fluff cake. She took a complete swing at it, and it went up instead of down and tagged the back line.
So the serve for Hawaii. Bumped up, Wong-Orantes rolls it down and gets it off the dig attempt for the point.
Well, that's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see who Hawaii chooses to go after. And if it's Wong-Orantes, then they've got to put some skates on, because let me tell you, she's going to move the ball around very well.
The serve coming by Malloy, handled by Hawaii. Bumped up over to Martin. Martin takes a whack at it. Nice dig by Wong-Orantes. Saved by Martin. Tucker back to Martin. Goes cross court, gets it down. Rich Andie Malloy, a senior out of Allen, Texas, 6'2". Her partner Wong-Orantes at 5'6". Take a look at this again.
A great swing. She got a little under the ball. That's why she hit the top of the tape, but seeing the court very well.
Martin for Hawaii serve. She's 6'1". Tucker's 5'8". That one's punched over. Nice dig by Tucker. And then the point for Malloy in Nebraska.
And what you're going to see for Hawaii is that Mikayla Tucker will play behind the block and Martin will be the blocker. These teams are very well paired against one another. They have a big and a little.
Bumped up to Martin again. That's a big, hard swing and a kill off the hands of Wong-Orantes, who, by the way, was recruited out of high school by the University of Hawaii, and it basically came down between Hawaii and Nebraska, and she chose to go to Lincoln, and I understand she loves it there.
She absolutely loves Nebraska. She says she may potentially, she's actually already graduated. She graduated in December. She's taking some master classes right now just to play the sand season. She said it's been great.
And you'll see the pokey right there at the net. Put over by Martin. Tucker saves it. Martin bump sets it. Nice save by Malloy. Back over to Malloy. And hits that one just long. Well, Malloy comes from an athletic family. Her father played college baseball at Virginia and actually was drafted in the 19th round of the '86 draft by the Texas Rangers.
Well, Malloy getting a little bit of advice over there by Coach Hildebrand, the new assistant coach for the indoor program.
And the head coach now for the beach team.
That's right. He's brand new. I mean, he just started in February of this year.
Dug up over, pass pushed over, saved by UH, bumped over to Tucker. Tucker punches it in the air. And we're gonna get a lift call on Hawaii. Martin didn't quite like that call. She'll go over and talk to the up referee and discuss that. That's Bert Fuller.
It kind of looks like she lifted it, but it's a really tough call from this angle. And I will tell you that Bert Fuller has been calling volleyball at the professional level, collegiate level as well. And take another look at that. It looks like her hand's open, and I think that's what he's calling it.
So you have to have your hand almost completely closed.
Either closed, or you can do what they call like a roll shot. It has to come off a little cleaner. You cannot do what we call a soft tip shot. And you know what I've found through all the years of volleyball is, generally speaking, if that ref has made a call and you don't have that replay, they usually don't change their mind.
No, I can't imagine, right? Bumped over to Martin. Hard hit, cross court, yes. And you can see why Martin was one of the best, if not the best, at the high school level a year ago.
Martin, again, just seeing the court so well. She sees the defenders, there's no block, and she swings hard, deep down the middle.
Serve gets over. Wong-Orantes to Malloy. Back to Wong-Orantes. And that one goes wide. Boy, that's a pretty sizable lead quickly here in the first set. When these two teams played each other the other night, or other day, over at Queens, Hawaii won 21-18, 21-14.
And again, no wind. The wind has been a little swirly tonight, but it has completely stopped here during this game one.
Nice one-arm save, getting chased but running out of room is Tucker. And a point for the Cornhuskers. Well, they'll go to Arizona after this for a tournament. Hawaii's going to go to Irvine.
That's right, Irvine Valley, where they have one of the most beautiful arenas, sand volleyball courts in the nation. They have 5 courts, and it's an amazing setup that Tom Pestalacci and his staff have spent 3 years building.
They're going to call it the Shave Ice Invitational. And Tom is actually having a shave ice truck come and park over there so they can have shave ice. And I mean, you better have shave ice if you call it the Shave Ice Invitational, right?
That's right.
Hawaii takes advantage of the overpass. Martin and Tucker have been in control throughout here in this opening stanza.
And this is the biggest lead of this match so far.
Bumped up to Wong-Orantes, and she tries to negotiate the net, but she cannot. And it's time now for the Jack Fact. And the Jack Fact is Hawaii's top 3 flights have not changed through the first 13 matches this season. Pairs of Martin, Tucker, Schucht, Taylor, and Maglio Weaver are a combined 32-7 here in 2017. In fact, Maglio and Weaver today were named the Big West Pairs Team of the Week.
That's right, and they're 12-1 on this year so far. Nikki Taylor and Kaiwi are 12-2, and this #1 team, Mikayla and Morgan, are 8-5.
Serve put over by Tucker. That's going to be an overpass, and taking advantage is Martin. Martin, only a freshman and playing at the #1 flight. That is very unusual, but you can see why she's at the #1 flight. Jeff Hall says she just doesn't make mistakes and just knows the game so well.
You know, and again, she's played in the AVP in different championships, the Association of Volleyball Professionals at her age. That's huge. She also ran track in high school. She's an honor roll student, you know, likes to study a lot, my understanding. And her dad, again, played a lot of volleyball and was an All-American at UCLA.
Well, you know, it's not only the players that get a lot of exercise out here on the courts, running from one place to the other, the coaches as well. And there you see Jeff Hall burning some calories, going from one side to the other. He needs one of those Fitbits. He'll tell him exactly how many steps he takes here tonight.
Well, trust me, he's taken a lot of steps in this last weekend. They have really packed in about as much volleyball as they possibly could.
Now, this is Jeff's 3rd year. The hope is in the next year or two that this becomes a full-time position. Now remember, he works with the indoor team, so this is kind of like his second job, if you will. But the University of Hawaii is going to probably make the commitment, make it a full-time position. And as we were talking earlier, then you would have a roster of just beach volleyball players that can play and practice year-round. And let's go down now to Ryan Clay-Suchi. Ryan.
Scott, well, during that last timeout, head coach Tyler Hildebrand talking to both of his players about serving more aggressive. He also said that they're going to try to take things off of serving Morgan Martin and try to mix things up by serving Tucker a little bit more. Joining Hildebrand on the coaching staff is Kristen Richards Hildebrand. Kristen Richards played for Stanford and a number of times against the University of Hawaii. She's also bringing her experience to the Nebraska coaching staff. Back up to you guys.
Hey, thanks a lot, Ryan. We just had a roof by Morgan Martin, and Hawaii with the large lead, 13-4. The float serve gets over, and that's about it. That will be an ace for Mikayla Tucker.
And I have to say, this is not the Justine Wong-Orantes that we normally see. You do not see her shanking balls and getting stuff blocked like that. She's not quite maybe used to being served.
Wong-Orantes will try to find it in the back row. It's dug up by UH. Martin up near the net, but it goes wide of the antenna, out of bounds, and a point for Nebraska.
A little overset on that play. Hawaii out to a huge lead here.
Mentioned Wong-Orantes has already graduated out of Cypress, California. Bumped up right side. Tucker, nice cross-court shot. Katsu.
And Mikayla Tucker, interesting story. She played 1 year of volleyball at Fresno Pacific.
Yeah, indoor.
Indoor, and then just came out to Hawaii. And Fresno Pacific is a Division II school, and decided just to play sand volleyball, and has been here just working away, like you said earlier, in flights 4 and 5 for the last couple of years, and worked really hard, and here she is playing at the #1 slot.
It's funny because her career high in kills at Fresno Pacific was 11 against Chaminade. Here's Wong-Orantes, gets a little help from the tape, nice diving dig. Martin up near the net, puts it down to her left.
And one of the things that you're going to find...
Well, we'll finish your thought. We'll come back. We'll have more. So far, it's been all Hawaii here in the first.
Malloy scrambling, putting the ball over, and no you don't, says Mikayla Tucker. She finds that ball and decides, who says you have to play 3? Let's take a quick look at this one. Malloy on the over, and Mikayla Tucker on the shoot, over on 1, deep into the corner for yet another point.
And that is how it works, presented by Central Pacific Bank. And I think a lot of that is just having excellent vision, being able to see the back row opened up like that and taking advantage.
I agree, and it's a little bit of having the experience. Mikayla Tucker being a senior, really seeing things nicely.
Back heel put down by Wong-Orantes, but it's been all Hawaii, Martin and Tucker here in this first set. Hawaii's already won the matchup. 3 matches to 1. This is the final one of the night. Played off the net nicely by Martin, getting it over as Tucker. Here come the Cornhuskers. Wong-Orantes takes a peek, hits it, and gets it off the hands of Martin.
And you can feel the momentum shift and or change a little bit back to Nebraska's side, but there is a huge spread in the score.
Bumped over Tucker. Tucker off the block and down. We get a net violation also called on the Cornhuskers. So Mikayla Tucker will go back and serve. She's a senior out of Placerville. She is majoring, get this, in kinesiology and rehab sciences. She's a double major. Wong-Orantes tries to cut it. We'll get a net violation this time called on Hawaii's Morgan Martin. How common are net violations in beach volleyball? I imagine quite common.
Well, they are quite common, and my personal opinion is that I think people overblock in beach volleyball. I think that there's a little bit too much blocking going on, but it's become a big part of the game, and therefore you have more risk.
And that time, Tucker crushes the coconut into the back row. That was a big swing by Tucker.
And it just goes to show her versatility. Earlier, she's cutting shots left and right, and then she just goes and completely unloads on that ball.
Boy, closing in on this opening set. That's a nice serve. Well, back over to Wong-Orantes. Kept alive by Martin. Chased down Tucker, back to Martin. Big swing, and she splits the defenders right down the middle of the court.
But what you're going to notice is that Mikayla Tucker's always setting Martin in the middle of the court. She sets her in the middle more than she sets her out to the pin or the post, and that seems to be really working well for this team.
And there's a service error, a rare service error. And the two teams now will switch sides.
So I was starting to share with you earlier before the break is that a lot of this depends on team chemistry. And what you're seeing here with Mikayla and Morgan is that they tend to seem like they have a really good chemistry together. They're working very well together, being that it's their first season of playing sand volleyball together.
There'll be another ace. Yeah, I was going to ask you, how long does it usually take to develop that chemistry?
Well, for different people, different amount of time, but you'll notice that some people just play better together than others. So some of these players will go through 4 or 5 different players until they figure out who they mesh up well with.
Well, that's 3 straight points now by Nebraska. Boy, kind of getting a little sloppy here.
Well, you get a lead, and sometimes you have to figure out how to close the deal.
We'll see if White can finish this out. Nebraska's serving. Back again goes Wong-Orantes. Bumped over to Tucker. Tucker aims for the back row, but goes just long. And another point now for Nebraska. 4-0 run for the Cornhuskers to try to make it at least respectable. Martin. Tucker. Saved by Malloy. Back over Malloy. And she goes down the left side. It looked wide, but the line judge said no. And another point for Nebraska.
And it'll be interesting to see if they call a timeout, which is exactly what they just did.
So Hawaii will call a timeout, and the coaches now have to walk from one side back over to the other for their little discussion with the pair for Hawaii, Martin and Tucker. This may just be a point of just telling them to calm down, close this out, get ready for the second set. I mean, they still have a pretty sizable lead.
Well, anytime a team takes 5 points in a row from you, it's really a no-brainer. You should definitely call a timeout. Try to slow things down or switch sides or do something, because they've obviously changed the momentum. And granted, Hawaii's got 2 points to close the deal. But still, you want to slow it down and get your momentum for the next set that's about to come.
Now, the players call the timeout, but can they look over and the coach can mouth to them, call a timeout? Or, I mean,
Well, that's
Are there
kind
rules
of
against
just
that?
what happened.
Okay.
There are rules against that, but they kind of both turn to the coaching staff, and legally they're not supposed to say. They're supposed to call their own timeouts.
If I wink twice, that means yes, call a timeout.
There's ways, there's
Something like-
workarounds, right?
If I grab my left ear, call a timeout. So Hawaii does get the timeout. Both pairs back out on the sand, and UH will see if they can finish and close out this first set. Wong-Orantes gets the serve over. It's a good serve. Chased down by Martin to Tucker. Tucker, nice diving save by Malloy. Malloy will be blocked, but kept alive by Nebraska again. They're doing a nice job defensively now, and Tucker goes for the back row. Overpass. Tucker, Martin on the 2. Goes to her right, dug up, out of bounds.
They're getting challenged definitely at the net, I'll tell you.
And you can see Martin, she was especially pleased with that. And Martin will go back to serve for set number 1 for Hawaii. Malloy up near the net. It's an overpass. Here comes Hawaii. They can win it. Martin goes to her left, gets it down for the kill, and the Rainbow Wahine have taken the opening set here in flight number 1 by the score of 21-13. We'll have more when we return. And we're back at the TC Ching Complex. The beach volleyball courts. Hawaii has taken the opening set here in the flight 1 pairs. And they're looking to close out the Huskers. Hawaii's won 3 of the 4 matches so far this afternoon into the evening, which means Hawaii's claimed the W against Nebraska. But you wanna win it at your number 1s.
You want to win no matter what.
There's a nice little pokey over the top of the block by Wong-Orantes.
That little pokey, you hold your hand up high, and it's actually like a little knuckleball. You send it up and over, and you can control it short or deep.
Hawaii led from start to finish in the first set, winning at 21-13, but a line drive service ace by Malloy.
In our earlier broadcast, we went to 3. Remember, Hawaii won the first one as well. Nebraska came back. Excuse me, I have it backwards. Nebraska won the first one.
There's Wong-Orantes looking for the opener, goes off the hands of Martin and down in the back row. This is where if you're Hawaii, you won fairly easily that first set. You gotta really readjust yourself, concentrate again. Now service goes long.
And you see Nebraska really trying to go after Mikayla Tucker now. They had started serving Morgan Martin earlier in the match and then changed it up. Let's see if they stick with that strategy.
Yeah, that strategy prior did not work out too well for them, did it?
It didn't, and Hawaii continues to go after Wong-Orantes.
She cut it, nice diving dig. Here comes Martin, gets up quickly, hits it, dug up by Wong-Orantes, back to Wong-Orantes. Saved by Martin, bump from Tucker. Martin off the block and out of bounds.
And again, Tucker setting Martin right in the middle.
It did not get off the hands of the block. Instead, it just goes out of bounds. So that's a point.
Little flying bugs tonight.
Well, that's kind of the danger of playing outdoors, and you got the lights on. You get some of those pesky critters around here. So a point for Hawaii. They trail by 1. They'll switch sides now. Don't forget, later on in the beach volleyball season, we'll have Hawaii against Pepperdine. And that'll be right before the team heads out for the Big West Conference tournament.
And that's going to be a great match. Pepperdine's women's volleyball team is only beach players.
There's a hard hit ball by Malloy that goes long. We mentioned Malloy transferred from Baylor. Played only this past season indoors for Nebraska. She was a senior transfer, but while at Baylor, she was a 2-time All Big 12 selection.
And a scholar athlete as well.
And it seems like all the Nebraska players, when you look at their bios, that's a nice put down by Wong-Orantes. They all have some kind of an academic award, don't they?
They do, and you know what? That has to be part of the requirement to go to school there. It comes from the coaching staff down.
So they'll serve Nebraska. Malloy lines across court, handled by Tucker. Tucker, cross court, off the hands of Wong-Orantes and out.
Tucker being very explosive at the net, driving a really hard-driven ball.
Take a look at this again, Lisa.
And again, really just almost knocking the defender down, Wong-Orantes.
That one is a nice job. One-arm dig over a pass. Back over to Malloy. Malloy off the hands of Martin, who kind of stumbled because the ball initially hit the top of the tape.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of tape balls this evening coming off the top, which slows the ball down.
Tucker cuts it to her left and down. That was a nice shot by Tucker.
A little slice and dice. Again, the play prior, she unloads on it, and then she takes something off. She's got the same approach to the ball, so she holds her defense, and then she slices and dices that cut shot.
Here comes Nebraska. Wong-Orantes punches it over. There's Martin to dig it up. Back to Martin. Hard hit shot cross court. Yes.
And again, Hawaii just looking very smooth right now. Great transitioning, digging balls up, and turning and setting extremely well.
Well, Martin and Tucker both have so much experience. We talked about Martin, the #1 recruit in the country a year ago, but Tucker also spent several years in the USA junior system.
Yeah.
There's Martin with the kill.
She did.
So now 8-6 Hawaii. Sides will switch again. They'll do a little work on the tape that marks what is considered the beach volleyball court. When they're practicing, though, don't they have the courts differently, like set at a different angle so they can get more courts set up?
They do, and with 28 players, you need more courts. They can set up 3 courts, to my understanding here, that the dimensions are a little bit different. But, you know, this team, they've got so much depth, so they do get to practice against really good competition all the time.
Let's go down to Ryan Kalei-Suji.
Hey, thanks, Scott. We're talking with head coach Jeff Hall before the match, specifically about Morgan Martin and her contributions to this team. He said that she is going to be a stud for the next 4 years for this Rainbow Wahine Sand volleyball team. He likes the fact that she has a wide variety of shots and has a lot of confidence playing in a number of beach tournaments with some notable names. She played with Kelly Rees, the former UCLA standout, as well as Catherine Plummer, the freshman Pac-12 freshman of the year who plays for Stanford. So Martin definitely having a lot of experience, and head coach Jeff Hall happy to have her on the roster. Back up to you guys.
Hey, thanks a lot. Martin with the nice serve. Malloy will bump it up near the net for Wong-Orantes, who goes to her right, and it goes just wide. How often do you see athletes that had parents that were successful end up being successful themselves? You mentioned Morgan Martin's father, Wally, played at UCLA, played on the AVP. Lisa Strand-Ma'a was an All-American at Hawaii. Her son, Micah, is an All-American at UCLA. There's a real correlation there.
I think there's some genetics involved, but we don't like brainwash our children. You hope that they go and do it, find a passion that they really like. And it's pretty obvious here that Morgan Martin really enjoys what she's doing.
Look at that one land just in front of the back row tape.
That's a great shot.
Malloy to Wong-Orantes cuts it. There's the dig by Tucker, pushed over by Martin. Scrambling are the Huskers. They get it over. Hawaii will reset. Tucker cuts it to her left, but too far. She had the right idea.
She did. It was open. Pokey cut. You don't see that very often, a pokey cut. So she'd be pretty confident in her pokey. She's done a couple deep shots in short, but the pokey cut, that's a pretty interesting shot.
Imagine that would be kind of hard to handle. There's a service ace by Malloy.
And again, Nebraska really going after Mikayla Tucker.
And that is the second ace for Malloy. Tied at 10 here in the second set. Hawaii won the opener 21-13. Tucker finds the open puka in the back row. Nice vision. Nice job there by the senior. We'll take a timeout. Hawaii up 1-0, and they lead 11-10 here in the second. Time now for the Fujitsu air conditioning cool play.
Well, Mikayla Tucker just does a fabulous job. She's got a huge block on her, and she goes high line deep into the corner pocket and literally tags the line.
How much do they practice that shot? Quite a bit?
All day long. It's a great shot, and it's very difficult to defend.
Back to action, Hawaii up 11-10. Malloy will attack it, and she does, but goes just long. But they call a touch on Hawaii, so the point for the Huskers.
And she was immediately aware that the blocker touched that ball. She was smiling right after she hit that ball.
Justine Wong-Orantes pops it over. Martin over to Tucker. Tucker cuts it to her left, gets it down on the tape.
That might be her go-to shot, if you will. She's really slicing and dicing that cut shot. It's made her a lot of points this evening.
Jeff Hall says she's a real grinder. What does that really mean?
I think she just works really hard, and she's worked very, very hard. To go from number 4 or 5 and be the number 1, you doubled up on 2 All-Americans and went into the number 1 spot. That's a grinder. Somebody who's worked very hard.
7th tie of the second set, and letting that one go by is Martin. A good thing she did, as it did go out of bounds. So Hawaii regains the advantage. A bit of a different set than we saw in the opener. Hawaii controlled throughout, led from start to finish, 21-13, but this one's been a back and forth affair so far. And that serve goes out of bounds by Martin.
And the wind has picked up a little bit, but not enough to really affect the serve and or the side.
So that'll be our 8th tie. Tucker, Martin. Tucker tries to go for that back row again and again. She gets it down.
Those are the little shots, the little things, and trust me, she trains doing those shots over and over and over. It's a defender's nightmare.
Well, it's been very effective here tonight for sure. Wong-Orantes, she rolls it over, but there's Tucker to dig it up. Tucker gets the bump set. Tucker down the left side, open and down. And Hawaii now out to a 2-point lead as the two sides will switch around again. And Morgan Martin, Mikayla Tucker, the number 1s for Hawaii so far this year, 8-5 on the season, but getting a chance to watch them, you got to feel like they have a very bright future. And hey, there's the mother of Justine Wong-Orantes.
That's Winnie. She came out to watch her daughter. She's very supportive, fun-loving, wanted to see her daughter play one more time before she heads to the national team.
And there's an ace for Hawaii. And now we'll get a timeout called by the Cornhuskers. So we'll keep it right here. And you look at Hawaii trying to wrap up a very long week of volleyball, and Nebraska as well. They enjoy coming out here. I'm sure they'll be out here again next season. But they basically use this as their cross-training 3-week season. They started against Missouri Baptist at home a couple of weeks ago. They'll wrap up next week over in Arizona, where Hawaii takes it a little bit more seriously. Of course, we'll head to Irvine. They'll play beginning on Sunday and a couple of tournaments there in California. And the goal every year for Hawaii is to get to the NCAA tournament, which is down in Gulf Shores, Alabama. Hawaii last year made it down there, the inaugural season of the NCAAs, and you know.
Well, Hawaii has done very, very well. They've made it down there every year. And, you know, this is Nebraska's spring break. Hawaii's ranked number 5 in the nation. And they've had some really good wins. And the only 2 losses that they do have are to USC and Florida State, which are nationally ranked teams. Whereas Nebraska, they're not even ranked. And, again, this is their spring break. Like you said, they come out, play, and then they go. And the season's very short. But it's their cross-training. And Nebraska is really putting up a nice fight here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. They won the Flight 2s. In quite a bit of an upset. There you see Tyler Hildebrand, the head coach for the Beach at Nebraska. On the 2, getting it over and down, is Malloy.
And that play was very strategic from the first contact. You could hear Justine calling deep, deep. She actually bumped past that first contact as a set.
By the way, Nebraska this past weekend at the Outrigger at Queens, they went 1-4, but Justine Wong-Orantes was named the best defender of the tournament. So that just tells you how good she is. Tries to get it over Martin. She cannot. Martin gets it back. Blocked. Saved by Tucker. Martin will take it and get it off the hands of Malloy, who has a big smile on her face. Maybe a bit of frustration.
And that's a really smart play by Martin and Tucker. Playing it over on 2, hitting high off of the hand. She sees the defender. She sees the blocker, and she just tools it.
Flipped over, nice save by Hawaii, and then putting it over on the second contact is Martin. What a great defense play by Mikayla Tucker, though, to come up, and able to pop that ball up. Take a look at this.
And a great up, and she puts it just high enough into the hitting shoulder of Martin. So they're utilizing their strength in the offense of Martin.
Saved by Martin. And Martin will get a point. She rolls it over. There's Malloy. Malloy from the left side puts it over and down.
Wow, that was very smooth. Malloy just getting up there and really not a lot of heat on the ball, but almost straight down. Take a look at that again.
Martin right in the middle. Goes to her left, and one official says out, one says down. The up official, Bert Fuller, says yes, it was in. So a point for Hawaii. UH close to closing this one out tonight.
And again, the strategy to set one another in the middle, especially Martin in the middle. She can turn that ball and hit high off a hand all day long.
That time off the block, a nice hit by Justine Wong-Orantes. You know, it's got to be fun for Wong-Orantes because indoor season, she never gets a chance to swing at the ball. She's the libero, and she's just back there to play great defense. But when it rolls around the beach season, she gets a chance to be a little bit of an offensive player as well.
Oh, she loves it. And you know what? She was a setter in high school. So even more so, she gets to do all of that out here.
Boy, 2 points away. Tucker from the right side. One arm dig by Wong-Orantes, but it goes over and out of bounds on the Hawaii side. And it's match point for the duo of Martin and Tucker.
And Mikayla Tucker just showing all kinds of different tools. She's swinging away, she's cut shot, she's highlining, she's going down deep corners and down the middle. Having a great offensive night.
Fans begin to clap. High set for Wong-Orantes, who hits it long, and that's it. As Hawaii takes the second set, 21-16, and they win the match 2-0, 21-13 in the first for Hawaii. And the two teams will shake hands at the net, and Hawaii wins it overall 4-1. We'll take a break, come back, have more from the beach courts here in Manoa. Hawaii wins it over Nebraska. Time now to take a look at the Bank of Hawaii players of the match. First for Nebraska, Annika Albrecht. She played in flight number 2. Terrific numbers, 12 kills, 16 digs, and 4 aces. And for Hawaii, Morgan Martin, who helped lead Hawaii to victory in flight number 1. 17 kills, a block, and 11 digs. So congratulations to those two, our Bank of Hawaii players of the match. Let's now go Sands side, where Ryan Kalei-Suji has a couple of special guests. Ryan.
That's right. We have Morgan Martin and Mikayla Tucker here with us this evening. Congratulations. Great match. Talk to us a little bit about that match against Nebraska. What were some of the things that you guys were focusing in coming into tonight's matchup?
Tough serving and just playing our game, side out, the usual. Yeah.
Well, we know that this is a new partnership because Morgan, of course, a freshman, but you obviously been a little more veteran season playing here for a few years. What has it been like in this partnership with Morgan?
It's been really great. Morgan's a really, really fast learner, and she already came in with so much experience that she's really been able to help me, and I've been able to help her. So I think it's a really, really good partnership we have.
Morgan, talk to us a little bit about your collegiate experience thus far. A highly recruited and sought-after player coming out of high school. What has it been like playing here at the University of Hawaii in your experience so far?
It's pretty magical. It's so wonderful here, the school, everything about it, the team is amazing. So it's just been really positive. It's so cool to have people actually watching the game, which is awesome. So it's nice to know the island cares.
Mikayla, a long weekend for you folks, and it only gets harder. You guys are going on the road, a few matches down in Irvine, and then you take on Pepperdine. What is sort of the mentality that you guys have going into this next series and this next matches?
We're really excited for it, and luckily we have quite a few days before we leave on Friday to practice and get ready and work on the things that we want to work on before we go on the road.
Well, congratulations to both of you, and best of luck on the mainland. We'll send it back up to you guys.
All right, let's take a look at highlights from Hawaii and Nebraska. The first match of the night, flight number 2, is Nebraska's Annika Albrecht and Olivia Boender upsetting Hawaii's Nikki Taylor and Kaiwi Schucht. Look at Albrecht right here, the 2-time academic Big Ten selection. Did a nice job at the net for the Cornhuskers. Hawaii tried their best, but they weren't good enough. In the second match of the night, at flight number 1, the duo of Morgan Martin, Mikayla Tucker were outstanding. There you see Tucker with the big kill from the back row, and here's Morgan Martin, the #1 recruit in the country, showing why she was so highly sought after, and good thing she chose Hawaii. She poke-skis that one into the back row. And we take a look at the final scores in flight number 2. There you see Albrecht and Boender winning it in 3, taking the third 15-9, and in flight number 1, the top 2 pairs for each team, Hawaii wins it easily, 21-13 and 16 over Malloy and Wong-Orantes. So with the win, Hawaii now improves their season mark to 12-2. It's been a long weekend of volleyball for everybody involved, but overall you'd have to say a very successful one for Hawaii.
You have to say it's a successful weekend. These girls have worked so hard. They trained so hard. They hosted national teams, played down at Queens Beach Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and here they are Monday evening playing and getting ready to go on the road trip. A lot of really great things. Even though Nikki Taylor and Schucht lost in that second flight, I'll tell you what, that's a great lesson for them to learn about just little things that can make a big difference in a game. So I think there's a lot of good takeaways this evening.
Well, and now Hawaii gets ready. They'll head to the mainland beginning on Sunday. They'll play at the Shave Ice Invitational at Irvine, and then they'll go down a couple of miles from Irvine for another tournament. A good test for Hawaii on the continent.
Well, definitely, you know, you always have that home court advantage. Playing here, they train here, they're comfortable here, but the real challenge truly comes when you hit the road. And most of these events that they're going to be playing at, Irvine is an inland court, so you're not going to have the breezes and whatnot. But at Pepperdine, if I'm right, they will play at Zuma Beach, which tends to be very, very windy. We don't get a lot of that here, so the dynamics and the outdoors, it changes, and so that's where the real challenge comes.
Should be a lot of fun on the road, and congratulations to both Hawaii and Nebraska, who did a fine job here this evening. Now wrap things up for us here in Manoa, where we remind you to take your sporting passion to the next level online at OC Sports TV or OC Sports Enhanced. Be a fan, and mahalo for making the University of Hawaii your sporting passion. For our entire outstanding OC Sports crew, for Ryan down on the sand, for Lisa, I'm Scott. Until next time, we bid you aloha and a good evening from the beach courts in Manoa.